Hi everyone. Today we will discuss about moisture content of gases and sling psychrometer. In this class, we will see what is moisture content in gases. That means gases like in atmosphere or air or any type of other substances. So how much amount of moisture is placed on the different areas or different gases or different substances? How should we calculate and what are the different methods we are used to calculate this moisture content, and how much amount and how much percentage of moisture is placed in that different gases and different substances? And next one, sling psychrometer. In this sling psychrometer is used to measure humidity. It is one of the operators measure humidity. Coming to this moisture content of gases, there are different types of gases we are used in this environment. So in that environment, in every or maximum amount of gases, s- small amount of moisture content is available. It is based upon the different situations and different applications, the moisture content is placed on the different gases and different substances. How should we calculate this moisture content in that different substances and um, different areas, different applications? How should we calculate and what are the different methods used to calculate this moisture content in gases? In previous class, we will discuss about the overall introduction of the measurement of humidity and measurement of force, torque, and power. So, in that class, we will see what is the overall introduction of measurement of humidity and what is the moisture content and how much percentage of moisture content is available in the air, and what is the sling psychrometer and what is dew point meter. What are those different instruments used to measure humidity? We already discussed in previous class. And also, what is force? What are the different instruments used to calculate are used to measure force, and what is torque, what is power? So in the torque and what is torque, what are the different instruments are used to measure torque and power? uh, these are all we will the overall introduction we are discussed in previous class. So today we will see what is moisture content of gases and sling psychrometer. First one, we will discuss moisture content of gases. You can see the study of different moisture measuring methods. So those different methods are used to measure the moisture content of different gases. That means air or any type of uh, different gases. How should we measure this moisture content in that substances or gases? First of all, you can see what is moisture content and how much amount of how much percentage of moisture content is available on that different substances or gases or air or atmosphere. So anywhere we can see what is moisture content. It is defined as the amount of water that can be removed without alternation of chemical structure of grains. It is the amount of water content. That means how much amount of water content is available on that substance or air or any type of gases. That is the moisture content. We should not remove any chemical structure of grains. That means I am taking one substance. I am taking I'm taking one substance. So in that substance, it is a flask. I'm taking one substance. Suppose it is a water or any type of a liquid you can take. So it has some moisture content. It has some moisture content. I'm not heating. I'm not cooling in this vessel. I'm just placing this vessel and placed some amount of substance on that vessel. So in that has a some amount of moisture content is available. I should not remove the chemical structure of that grains. That means suppose it is a water, suppose it is a water. In that water I am not removing any type of chemical substances. Suppose if it is if I heat this vessel, it should be evaporated and the molecule should be changed about this vessel. I'm not heating this vessel, only uh, put a constant position of this vessel. It has some amount of moisture content. Okay, so if I heat that vessel or um, cool that vessel, the chemical reaction or the molecule should be changed. Okay, so what he told is it is defined as the amount of water that can be removed without alternation of chemical structure of grains. So if we define as the amount of water that can be removed, how much amount of moisture is available on that vessel, we can remove that moisture content, we can remove that water. That is the moisture content, that is the moisture content in that vessel. Without alternation, without alternation means we are not any type of substances are adding or preheating or cooling. We should not done that procedure without alternation of chemical structure of grains. Okay, so and next one, the term gain moisture content normally denotes the quantity of water present in a grain sample per unit mass of its dry matter and moisture combined. The term grain moisture content normally denotes the quantity of water present, how much amount of water content is available on that substance or air or any type of gas. We should remove that moisture content by using different techniques and different procedures. A grain sample per unit mass of its dry matter and moisture should be combined. So it is the moisture content in substances or gases. You can see what is the moisture content representation. How should we calculate the moisture content and how much amount of moisture content is placed on the different areas and different substances or different objects. How should we calculate? It is mainly classified, it is mainly represented as moisture content is available at uh, two bases. One is wet basis and dry basis. So the moisture content should be um, calculated. One is wet basis and another one is dry basis. So in that wet basis, what is wet basis and how should we calculate the moisture content in wet basis gases or wet basis substances or wet basis objects? The moisture content on the wet basis, it is obtained by dividing the weight of water present in the material by the total weight of material. Suppose I am taking one material, I am taking one object. So in that object, um, overall we should calculate the overall weight of that material, and also we should calculate how much amount of water content is placed on that material. So that is second one. These two are we can calculate and we can measure the wet basis of moisture content, how much amount of moisture content is available on that material. So the moisture content in percentage we can calculate. It is the formula WW by WW plus WD. That means WW, it is the weight of water in the material, weight of water in the material. And next, WD is the weight of dry matter in the material. I am taking one material. We can calculate the weight of material and we can take some amount of water or any type of moisture content on that um, material. We should calculate that amount of weight, that is weight of dry matter in the material. So in the moisture content of wet basis we can calculate. What is the formula? It is WW by WW plus WD into 100. It is the formula we can calculate the moisture content in wet basis. And next one you can see What is the dry basis? So in the dry basis, the moisture content on the dry basis is obtained by dividing the weight of water present in the material by the weight of the dry matter of the material. How much amount, of water is available on that material? We should calculate that amount of weight to the weight of dry matter of the material. So in that dry basis, we can calculate the moisture content in dry basis. What is the formula? WW, that is weight of water in the material. Weight of water in the material. Suppose it is one material. It, in this material, I am taking 500 grams of water. 500 grams of water. Okay, so that is the weight. That is the weight of water, and we can calculate the weight of dry matter in the material. If the material is dry, we are not adding any type of substance on that vessel or on that material. We can calculate that amount of weight. It is suppose uh, 200 grams or we can calculate it is in terms of kgs or grams or newtons or kilonewtons. Anyway, different units are calculated. We can measure the weight of water in the material. It is 500 divided by weight of dry matter in the material. It is 200 into 100 into 100. So we should cancel this 2, then 2, 250. Okay. So what is the percentage? It means 25% of moisture content is available on this dry basis. I'm taking just one simple example. How should we calculate the dry basis? Okay. So it is the procedure to calculate the moisture content in dry basis. And next one, what is the relationship between dry basis and wet basis moisture content? What is the relation between those dry basis and wet basis? Moisture content in dry basis, this is the we can calculate in terms of percentage. Moisture content of wet basis in terms of percentage, and by 100 minus moisture content of wet basis into 100. So we can get moisture content of dry basis in terms of percentages, and we can calculate moisture content of wet basis, that is moisture content of dry basis by 100 plus moisture content of dry basis into 100. It is the formula of moisture content of wet basis in terms of percentage. In terms of percentage. So the value of dry basis moisture content is more than the wet basis moisture content. So the value of dry basis moisture content is more than the wet basis moisture content. Okay, so just see what's the formula of this dry basis moisture content and wet basis moisture content. Okay, so what he told is finally the moisture content in the dry basis moisture content is more than the wet basis moisture content. So the dry basis moisture content is more compared to the wet basis moisture content. Okay, so it is the relation between the dry basis and wet basis moisture content. And you can see what are the different methods we should calculate the moisture content in different gases or different substances. You should see there are two methods. It is classified into direct methods and indirect methods. So the direct methods of moisture content, One is woven method, and second one is brown jewel fractional distillation method, and third one is infrared method. These are the different methods. We should directly calculate the moisture content in different gases or different substances and different materials. And indirect methods, electrical resistance method, dielectric method, and chemical method. These are the indirect methods to calculate moisture content in gases or different substances or material. Okay, so you can see what is the direct methods. One is woven method. In that woven method, there are three different types of woven methods. It is air woven method, vacuum woven method, water woven method. These are the three different methods. We should calculate the moisture content in the gases. What is uh, what are direct methods? It is one is woven method. In that woven method, the first one is air woven method. It is one stage method. It is used for grains under 30% moisture content. So what you can see the procedure. Take 2 to 3 grams of representative ground samples of grain. Okay, you can see there are what is the procedure of that air woven method. Take 2 to 3 grams of representative ground samples of that grain. Place this sample in a air woven at 130 degrees centigrade for about 1 to 2 hours. So I am taking one bowl or one vessel. I am taking one bowl or one vessel. So in that I am taking 2 to 3 grams of grains. I am taking 2 to 3 grams of grains I am taking. So any type of grains I am taking ground samples of grains. Okay. So ground samples of grains I am taking 2 to 3 grams. It is the I will put in this bowl or vessel. Place this sample in a air oven at 130 degrees centigrade about 1 to 2 hours. So place this bowl into oven, air oven. It is 130 degrees centigrade up to 130 degrees centigrade. It will be placed in 1 to 2 hours. We can place 1 to 2 hours. Okay. Afterwards, the samples are taken out and placed in uh, dissecators to cool down. So after that, after to complete this process, we can take that grain. We can take that grains and we can cool the grains. The drop in weight of grain is measured. The drop in weight. So the weight of the grains is dropped. The weight of the grain is dropped. It is measured by using different equipment. The moisture content of material is based on the difference between initial weight and final weight of grains. That means I am taking groundnut grains. I am taking groundnut grains. So initially I am setting, I am calculating that grains weight. Okay, suppose in that I am taking two grains, it is 10 grams. It is 10 grams. After I am heating this process, that is 130 degrees centigrade, I am putting air oven about 1 to 2 hours. I should get only these two grains into 4 grams. 4 grams. 4 grams. 4 grams. Okay, so what we understand it is the moisture content of that grain should be decreased. Okay, so that is the oven method. And next one, two-stage method. You can see that two-stage method. It is used for grain above 13% moisture content. Above 13% moisture content. Take 25 to 30 grams of whole grain sample. Place this sample in a oven at 100 degrees centigrade for 72 to 96 hours. After completion of this 72 to 96 hours. Take out the sample from the oven and repeat the procedure as in one stage method. Measure the moisture content of the sample gain. Moisture content of material is based on the difference between the initial weight and final weight of the grains. So you can calculate the initial weight of the grains, and after completion of the uh, after uh, take out the oven of that grains, we can calculate the weight of that grains. So you can measure what is the initial weight of the grains and what is the final weight of the grains. Definitely there is a change occurred on the initial weight and final weight. Okay, that is the two-stage method. And a vacuum oven method. It is used for fruits and vegetables. This vacuum oven method is used for fruits and vegetables. So what is the procedure it is? In this method, 2 to 3 grams of representative samples of ground material is placed in a vacuum oven. 25 mm of vacuum at 100 degrees centigrade for 72 to 96 hours. The drop in weight of grain is measured based on its initial weight. So it is the vacuum method. That is the 25 of vacuum is also taken to that vacuum oven. It is about 100 degrees centigrade. So the drop of the weight should be the drop of of grains is measured based on the initial weight of the that grains. We can calculate the initial weight of the grains and final weight of the grains, and we can measure the difference between those initial weight and the final weight. And next one, water oven method. So in that similarly, we can take water on that oven. It is also put about 100 degrees centigrade of hot water around the walls to heat the oven. This method maintain more uniform temperature than air oven method. Place 25 to 30 grams of sample in a oven at 100 degrees centigrade 72 to 96 hours. Measure the drop in weight. So we can calculate initial weight and final weight. How much difference we should calculate by using this method. And next one, brown jewel fractional distillation method. In this method, moisture is removed by heating the grains in oil and determining the volume or weight of water removed from the grain in condensed vapor or from the loss of weight of the sample. Take 100 grams of whole grains sample along with 150 ml of mineral oil in a flask. You can see that flask. You can see this flask. You can see that 100 grams of grains we are taking in that flask. You can see what are the different constructional details of this brown jewel fractional distillation operators. There is a thermometer. We should calculate the temperature and flask. In that flask, there is a mineral oil and heating lamp. Next one, hot water bath, graduated cylinder. These are the different constructional details. You can see that procedure. Take 100 grams of whole grain sample along with 150 ml mineral oil in a flask. So in that one flask, I am taking 150 ml of mineral oil. In that 150 ml of mineral oil, I am taking 100 grams of grains. And next one, boil the sample. So the moisture from the sample is evaporated, collected, and condensed in a graduated steel. Okay, you can see there is a boil the sample. You can heat the sample. The moisture content of the grains should be evaporated. That evaporation of gases should be collected at a graduated cylinder. So the millimeter of moisture collected shows the percentage of moisture content. So if the millimeter of moisture content is also collected, that amount of moisture is also calculated. The determined moisture content is on wet basis. So the determined moisture content is on wet basis. In this method, the temperature of mineral oil in flask should reach the 200 degrees centigrade within 26 minutes. The time required for moisture determination is about 30 minutes. If the temperature of mineral oil reaches to desired temperature within time, the moisture content determination is found to be fairly accurate. So it is the procedure. It is overall working of the brown jewel fractional distillation operators. It is by using that heating lamp, we can heat that mineral oil. That amount of moisture content, it should be evaporated, and that evaporation moisture content is collected by using graduated cylinder. By using graduated cylinder, the moisture content should be taking, and it is calculated. And you can see the hot water bath. The hot water bath, initially the moisture content should be preheated. The walls of the hot water bath and mineral oil flask walls should be heated, and we can measure the temperature by using thermometer on the mineral oil. Okay, it is the working. And next, infrared method. In this method also, grain moisture content is directly measured by evaporation of water from a sample of grain with infrared heating lamp. A commercial infrared moisture meter is also available in the market. So the moisture content we should calculate by using that lamp. So in that infrared method, we are taking one pan. In that pan, it is connected through infrared lamp. So we can on that infrared lamp, the temperature is passing through that pan. The moisture content should be evaporated, and then we calculate the initial weight and final weight of that grains. We can calculate the moisture content. Okay, it is the infrared method. You can see the procedure of the infrared method. The instrument consists of a balance, a pan counterbalanced on the fixed weight and variable length of the weighing chain. An infrared lamp is mounted on the arm above the pan with provision to change its height. So the infrared lamp is mounted on the one arm that is above the pan with provision to change its height. A scale corporate in percentage moisture content is incarnated in the stem of the instrument. At the end of the test, when the balance is zeroed, a direct reading of moisture content is obtained. You can calculate the sample of grains may be ungrounded, but when ground sample is used, the time needed to evaporate the water is reduced. So it is the working procedure. And next one, how should we calculate humidity? How should we measure humidity? By using one instrument, it is a sling psychrometer. By using this sling psychrometer, we can measure humidity. Okay, a sling psychrometer which uses thermometers attached to a handle or length of rope and spun in the air for about 1 minute. In the sling psychrometer, we are using two types of thermometers. It uses thermometers. These thermometers are attached to one handle or length of rope and spun in the air. These thermometers are placed in the air. Where should we calculate the moisture content? About for 1 minute. Is sometimes used for field measurements, but is being replaced by more convenient electronic sensors. Willing psychrometer uses the same principle, but the two thermometers are fitted into a device reassembles a ratchet or football rattle. Okay, you can see what are the constructional details of the sling psychrometer. It is the sling psychrometer. In this sling psychrometer, there is a swivel joint and the swivel handle, glass casing, frames, wet bulb thermometer, dry bulb thermometer. In this wet bulb thermometer and dry bulb thermometers are connected through the frame. This is the sling psychrometer. And what is the operation of this sling psychrometer? In order to measure the dry bulb and wet bulb temperatures, the psychrometer frame glass covering thermometer arrangement is rotated at 5 meters per second or to 10 meters per second. Just a second. So you can see the operation of this sling psychrometer. In order to the dry bulb and wet bulb temperature, the psychrometer frame glass covering thermometer arrangement is rotated at 5 meters per second to 10 meters per second to get the necessary air motion. So the air should be motion to rotating the thermometers. The thermometer whose bulb is bare contacts the air indicates the dry bulb temperature. At the same time, the thermometer whose bulb is covered with wet wick comes in contact with the air, and when this pass on the wet wick present on the bulb of the thermometer, the moisture present in the wick starts evaporating and of the thermometer. Now the temperature indicated by the thermometer is the wet bulb thermometer, which will naturally be lesser than the dry bulb thermometer. So the wet bulb thermometer is very less compared to the dry bulb temperature thermometer. So what are the precautions of this sling psychrometer? If the psychrometer is rotated for a short period, then the wet bulb temperature recorded will not be proper. If the psychrometer is rotated for a longer period, the wick will be dried soon and the wet bulb temperature will not be at a minimum value. These are the disadvantages of the sling psychrometer. The measured medium is distributed due to the act of measurement. The evaporation process at the wet bulb will add moisture to the air. It cannot be used in automation requirement situations, and it can be used for continuous recording purpose. It cannot be used for continuous recording purpose. These are the different disadvantages, and you can see what are the different applications of the sling psychrometer. It is used for checking humidity level in air conditioned rooms and installations. It is used to set check air hygrometer. It is used in measurement range of 0 to 100% RH, and it is used for measuring wet bulb temperature between 0 degrees centigrade to 180 degrees centigrade. So it is the applications of the sling psychrometer. It is overall about the uh, moisture content of gases and uh, procedure of working and procedure of the sling psychrometer. We can measure humidity by using this sling psychrometer. So thank you guys, in next class we will discuss absorption psychrometer and dew point meter. These are also used to measure humidity. Okay, so thank you guys.